like this, but I also look like a hot mess. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. I just look a hot mess. Alright, so I'm gonna try recording this. I hate doing reading vlogs because I have to look nice for the camera, and I don't look nice most days, but I just finished babysitting. So I've been reading Throne of Glass. I just read Assassin's Blade. I enjoyed that, and having the context for Throne of Glass, because I read Assassin's Blade, is really quite nice. So I am this far in. I'm on chapter 33. No, 34. So I'm almost done. I am about 150-ish pages from the end. So I'm just gonna sit here and read and record my reaction to some things. And we're gonna see. I don't genuinely know what's gonna happen. I don't honestly know, but I look a hot mess. I don't care enough to care. All right, my forehead's big. All right, so let's read Throne of Glass. She has been wrong before. If you read Assassin's Blade, girlie was just jumping to conclusions every time she opened her mouth. So she could be right, she could be wrong, but reading Assassin's Blade tells me all I need to know about Selena's thoughts. Is she wrong? I don't know, but she may be wrong, she may be right, and honestly, kind of love her either way. You're sitting up here because you want these.
And I didn't really them for you.
But yeah, I'll get ready.
Mr. Fat Butt. Mr. Fat Butt.
I'm at the end. Something really cool just happened. I'm finally reading that series. You got it for me for Christmas like 2 years ago.
What series?
That one.
Oh, okay. Look at him.
She's
Look. I said, can I have some, please?
Can I get dressed so I can go to the gym, please? You're not getting dressed. I love you. Mwah. I'll see you in a second. I need to put clothes on. You want to take another one? You want two?
You want two.
Or I get two? Thank you.
Next day.
Because I'm tandem reading. Because I finished the first 5 books in the series. And I don't remember the last time I updated you guys. So, I'm going to do the update now. I'm on chapter 11 as Empire Storms. And I am on chapter 4 of Power of Dawn. I think we're reading... I read the little prologue chapter of this last night, and then I started it. This one's longer. This one's longer than this one, but this one feels longer. I guess because I'm not going back to it as often. For every like 2 chapters, I read a singular chapter of this. I like this cover a lot. I was gonna take a nap, but then I got over the hump of the nap. It's taking my willpower, so hopefully over the next like 3-ish days I finish this. The goal is to have the whole series finished before my birthday, which isn't until the next week on the 4th. And I literally just have these two, which I'm already in the middle of, and this one. And Tower of Dawn is shorter, but it's this one, like I finished Tower of Dawn after Empire of Storm. And then we've got this big hefty boy, which I might need like a day's break and then get into the series. Because it's almost 1,000 pages. It's literally 20 pages away from being 1,000 pages. Sir J. Mass was just typing. Could someone please in the comments tell me what the deer is about? What's the deer for? I read Assassin's Blade, but it's been so long that I don't remember if they told us what it was for. But yeah, I'm almost done. I don't know how to pronounce anybody's names. I don't know where anybody is, but we're almost done. I think that's just why I don't like fantasy series. There's so many people dying, and you go without mentioning them for a whole book, and then they just get brought up, and I'm like, oh, and it's like, oh, and in the book didn't really get kick-started, and it didn't really kick it into gear until the 4th book. Heir of Fire, I read it in chronological order, so in the 4th book is when things kind of start to take off. Assassin's Blade's like the prequel. Throne of Glass is like establishing things. Crown of Midnight gets us almost there, and then Heir of Fire actually does the job of getting us into stuff. And dare I say, I care more about everybody else's relationship instead of the main character's relationship. Aelin and Rowan, y'all can keep it, because I want anybody else. Give me Lysandra and Aedion. Give me Manon and Dorian. I spoiled it for myself, so I know that those two couples are coming, and I'm so excited to read it. I almost want to say Dorian's perspective would feel as though it makes sense in Tower of Dawn, because either way, the characters are not anywhere near each other. You know, like I've got like 8 perspectives in this book, and granted I'm only 30-something pages into this one, so we don't have as many perspectives, but we've got Chaos, Nesrins, and I don't know how you say her name. Yrene? I think that's how you say it. In this book. And it feels as though Dorian's perspective would fit better in this book. And in this book, we get Dorian's, Manon's, Rowan's, Aelin's. The other 2 characters, who I don't know how to pronounce the name of. Lorcan. Homegirl's name, who I cannot pronounce because I didn't think that she'd be important. I didn't learn her name because I thought she'd be dead by now. Sam will always have my heart, and anything after that is just an utter inconvenience. So thank you for coming to me, the talk. If I can't have Sam, I want Dorian. And you should have seen me. I should have recorded it, how I was going through Queen of Shadows, because I was like, please don't kill him. Please. We can find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. And he's alive. Yay. But I'm going to read the 2 chapters I have to read from this one, and then I'm going, because it's on my phone, then I'm gonna check how many chapters I'm supposed to read of this one. And I might take a nap, or I might get an Alani. Tandem reading.
Yo.
I'm about to show you a spoiler, so spoiler. If she actually does die when I'm done reading, when it cuts back to Manon's perspective, because then this next chapter, it's not in hers, and I don't know how many. No, it doesn't cut back to Manon's perspective before we have to get back to this book. My tone's changing a bit because I didn't know exactly how we were gonna do what this book was gonna do. But now that I know, I'm here for it. I'm down for it. Don't stress me out. Oh, excuse me. I was supposed to read chapter 6, and so I'm just gonna read 6 and 7. And I was supposed to read chapter 6 before reading chapter 11 of this, and then read chapter 7, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna read chapter 6 and the next chapter that follows after that. You get what I'm trying to say, and then go back to, and then read chapter 12 and 13.
One eternity later.
Welcome in, welcome in. It's been a few days since I last recorded, and I honestly don't know what the last thing I recorded was, but we unlocked a new area. I'm in my living room, and this is my favorite blanket. But I don't know what the last thing I recorded was, but we've made some progress in the series, because we're on Kingdom of Ash. Last night I got to page 702. I've been reading for like the last 4 days of this. I thought I'd honestly do it a lot quicker, but when I started the book, I had company. I was having a sleepover, so I was just reading at night. So I told myself if I got to page 700, I would sit here until it was finished. And the goal is to finish the book before my birthday. My birthday's tomorrow. As long as I finish before 12 o'clock hits on the clock, it's fine. Am I enjoying it so far? It's a lot of war stuff. And we are at it, if I'm not mistaken. We're there. We're there. So, watch my reactions to finishing Kingdom of Ash, because a lot of people are gonna die. I just know they are, and I'm scared. There have been so many people who have almost died, and I'm starting to get scared. There are side characters that I think are gonna die, because, you know, they're side characters, and I'm really hoping they're not. Today is In Her Own League's release day. Yay! It's released today, and tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, we go to Barnes & Noble, because that's what I wanted to do for my birthday. Not originally, but you know, it's fine. So hopefully I can get it. That's like one of my top things on my list. I totally forgot that it was being released, and then I remembered. I can't wait to read about Emmett. I can't wait. I just recently read the Windy City series, and I'm so excited. Let's do the darn thing. You're gonna sit there and look pretty while I finish. She's not dead. Shut up. We're ready for the book review portion of the video. I don't know if I ever told you guys in the video. I'm tired, if you can tell. But I decided to read it in chronological order. So you basically read Assassin's Blade instead of Throne of Glass first for all of you new people. So I'm going to be rating them chronologically, if that makes any sense. Gang's all here. They are not in order. So basically I'm going to tell you my rating for each one of them and give like a little opinion. I don't want this to be like too long because I don't like reading vlogs, you know? So, so I don't want to waste your time doing a whole bunch, but let's start with Assassin's Blade. If you don't know, this is the prequel to the Throne of Glass series. But this kind of like explains the information that you learn in Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, especially if you read them in the order that they came out in. But I just want to start with, I gave this a 3.75. I really did enjoy this book. Getting to know Selena, whatever you want to call her, getting to know her before reading Throne of Glass really made me more attached to her. I don't know if that is true, if I would have read it the opposite way, but I sincerely fell in love with her, fell in love with who she was. I understood her quirks, all of who she is as a person. I told myself that if I read Assassin's Blade and didn't like it, I wouldn't have let it affect me reading the rest of the series. But I really did enjoy this book. Like, it wasn't the best thing I've read, but it definitely wasn't bad, like, at all. For those of you who want to know, I don't think there's smut in it, and if there is, I didn't pay attention. But this is just a background on who Selena is, the character who we followed through the whole series. So if you're ever confused, you don't have to read this one first, but a lot of people say for like a more emotional story, read this one first, and it really did hurt reading the other books. And of course, seeing as though I like the prequel, we had to jump into Throne of Glass. didn't like Throne of Glass as much as Assassin's Blade. I gave this one a 3.5 though. It kind of got the job done to interest, like, to like the average reader. If you were to just pick up Throne of Glass not knowing about the rest of the series or anything, like, I never had any of the series spoiled for me. Nothing. Nobody's names, nothing that happens, nothing. None of the Throne of Glass series was spoiled for me when going into this book, so I would consider it like, it's a more political romantasy the further you get throughout the series. It's not like the romance isn't the big thing. It's what she's trying to do, and I will explain that more. It's a good setup to a fantasy series, so it didn't fail to set up the series, but it wasn't like my favorite intro to any series ever, if that makes sense. It did its job of getting me to be intrigued about the characters and the complex relationships, and especially seeing as though I read Assassin's Blade first, it made me want to see the characters get to know Celaena, like some knowledge of her. You know her just a little bit, so whenever you see her going through these things with the other characters in Throne of Glass, you're just like, I can't wait until they find out just how wrong they are, and that's how it felt. So segue, she was my favorite for a while there. I thought she was gonna be my favorite of the series, but Crown of Midnight, she got a 4.5 from me. This is like where it picks up. Like, I would think Heir of Fire is where it really picks up story plot wise, but this is where it kind of picks up. This is where it like picks up. You know what I'm saying? It's the second book in a series. We don't need to dwell on anything. The ending of this had me gagged. You saw it. It had me gagged. And I absolutely love everybody in this book. But this is kind of the start of the start. I would consider Heir of Fire where the series actually starts. Like, Celaena is now on her journey to achieving the end goal. It's her first stepping stone. This is her first stepping stone to achieving it, but this is like the first thing she has to do to get there, if that makes any sense. This is kind of what gets us to this, obviously, but this is like a transitioning book to get us to like the main plot. Then we have Heir of Fire. Heir of Fire was in my opinion the worst best book in the series. This was like, it was good for the end of it, and the end should not be the best part of the book. Did I just give it a 4-star? I think I might have just given it an even 4. I didn't like say it or show it because I was thinking about scrapping the whole series as a whole. When I was reading Heir of Fire, like, Crown of Midnight got me really excited to continue the series, but Heir of Fire made me not want to finish it. I didn't care about Rowan at all. I didn't care about the story that was being made for the first 70%, and then she did an immaculate job in the last 30. Yes, we love her. I loved Queen of Shadows. The first maybe 20% of the book I really wasn't caring. And this was the first ever like time through anything. Movies, books that I've like cared about the political side of a fantasy, of anything. I don't usually care about like the politics or whatever like story that the book's trying to tell outside of the plot, like the theme of the book that it's trying to convey. I don't necessarily care. I don't really care about those because 1,000 books do it. But this was like the first time when we got to this book, this was like the first time I started finding myself caring about the political aspect of a situation we're in. This was the book that I really started to see like the characters for who they are. I was just like waiting on the edge of my seat for Manon to flip her shit, and you know, she did. We got there. So I'm very grateful for that. Because Manon was like, I hated reading her POV up until the last bit of Heir of Fire. And I think that was mostly because I hated the whole book, just like the book as a whole. So I really need to reread Heir of Fire because I don't think I appreciated it for what it was. Because this was amazing. I kept finding myself disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I kept finding myself disappointed with the series because I was expecting something that didn't exist. But I kept wanting to like find the inner 5-star in these books that didn't exist. I really did like this book. It picked up the pace. It gave what it needed to give is basically what I need to say. Now we talk about the tandem read. This tandem read was fairly easy. I didn't hate Tower of Dawn. It was just slow at times. Nesserin's POV made me want to die. but I absolutely love this tandem read. But but I enjoyed both of these books. I didn't care for Nesrin's POV. Nesrin's POV was really important, obviously, for what's happening in Kingdom of Ash, obviously for the character's plot, what gets us to these characters joining the whole war and everything, but I really didn't care. This 10 toes boots down. This got a 4.75 for me. I was not expecting to eat this big book up. If I read this book, if I read this book in tandem read, I probably would have read this in one day, because I was consuming this information at a very alarming rate. And then I found myself having to stop and read Tower of Dawn. Now, Wyron, that's what I'm gonna call her, and Kale were every bit of worth it to read. But Empire of Storm clocked T. It shouldn't have taken 5 books in a series for me to officially like it, but it did. And I'm not gonna say this is a 5-star series. This is a 4-star series for me. I absolutely loved it. As a person who hates fantasy, this actually made me want to read more fantasy than ACOTAR did. After I read ACOTAR, I was like, I love these characters, I love the plot, never want to read a fantasy again. But this book series, especially this book and the way that it was going and the way that it went, Lysandra in general, Lysandra and Manon are probably my 2 favorite characters, and they didn't let the foot off the throat the whole book. I'm very grateful that she wrote these characters because I love Manon and Lysandra. Now you might be like, what about Aelin? I love Aelin. Aelin's the main character. I would never not love Aelin, obviously. But Aelin's like a bad bitch. You know, we all know she is. You know, he knows, she knows. Who knows? We all know. But it was repetitive. I'm not gonna lie to you. Everything that was happening in the book, I could call before it happened. Even though I was gagged, I called it. Aelin has a lot of PTSD. Like, she's gone through a lot to the point that it was like almost exhausting. I felt exhausted for her. When I was reading the end of Kingdom of Ash, I was like, we all need to go to bed, okay? But this just made me love all of the characters. Like, there wasn't a character other than Aedion I didn't dislike. I love okay, that's my one thing about books. I love when book series can make me love side characters. By the way, this book looks like prune juice. You see it? The only reason why I didn't give it a 5-star was for the very end. Now, my problem that you're about to find is a very hefty one. They made a big deal out of this blood oath. Like, this blood oath thing, that if you defy your blood oath, if you go against your blood oath to that person, you will die. And then he didn't do it and we're mad at him? That's really confusing. I'm still mad about that. That we're not supposed to like him. Like, I know he did some other stuff, but we're not supposed to like him because he didn't defy the blood oath that could kill him? And then he goes on to make a blood oath to Aelin for Elide, and she was still mad at him even though she knows that the blood oath can kill. Or maybe she didn't. I don't know. I'm not for sure. But the blood oath can kill you if you defy. Like, if you go against the person who you made the blood oath to, it will kill you. So why in the world are we all of a sudden switching up? That's what I hate about fantasy books. When we play fast and loose with the rules because we don't like people. That was my only problem with that book. And it made me really mad to the point that I didn't want to read Kingdom of Ash. That's how mad I was about that plot. Because what are we mad at him for? He did the one thing he was supposed to do. And, you know, she would have been more mad if he died. I liked it more than I thought I was going to, but I hated it more for the reason I didn't think. I didn't think I was going to dislike Nesrin's point of view as much as I did. She is beauty. She is grace. She is everything. She's crazy. She's dramatic. We love her. She's almost 1,000 pages and she's a 5-star. It wasn't perfect, but it was more than I was hoping for. It was more than I could have ever wanted. It was more than I expected. I think this is the first time that I actually genuinely liked what I was watching what I was watching, what I was reading with these characters. And even though I don't think this is Roman Empire series as a whole, I really do think it was a good one, and it was worth the time that I spent reading it. But my biggest series on my shelf is done, and I pat myself on the back for it. But that's all. Make sure you do all that YouTube stuff that you know how to do, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. It is taking me forever to do it, but I love you guys so much. Oh, it's finally over. As the world came to the ground,